Are there regulatory bodies that govern MSMEs or SMEs in this country? And if so, how does one access them? What are the benefits? What are the policies you'd like to highlight?
One of them being KRA. I know you don't believe that they can be, but KRA regulate taxes in Kenya, and we'll talk a little bit more of the taxes as relevant to the MSME. But KRA is one of the regulators that will make sure you return tax from the revenues or the turnover or the sales that you make. As an MSME or where you fall, it is very important to know KRA, understand KRA, make KRA your friend. I know it's very difficult to make KRA a friend because KRA is like death for most of the businesses. But KRA has transformed itself. They are now moving to taxpayers. They say you are not adversaries. Come, let's understand your business, the challenges you face, and the modalities that you can use to pay taxes. So KRA is one of the regulators, Caroline, that I find very close. Most of you also know about one called Ken Invest. So anyone who wants to make investment, whether local or international, Ken Invest does a lot in terms of capacity building, help you even promote your products among your peers, but most importantly, working with the key stakeholders in terms of funding, like Pezesha Hilda, we call Pezesha Hilda now. Yeah, also, that is a regulator that is very key in supporting MSMEs. You will be surprised that we have the Business Registration Services Office. The Business Registration Services Office will help you get the best option for registration of whatever business that you'd like to take, and we will see options that you can have. So when you are registering a business, don't just leave it to legal profession with due respect, but make sure you understand what business you are registering, because there are also advantages and disadvantages to having a form of a business, particularly on how it relates to your own personal life as an entrepreneur and also the legal side of a business. I will talk about more of Competition Authority of Kenya. Did you know that they also play a key role, and you can have a case for protection when you face unfair competition in the business you have. We are in a very strange environment in a country where if the rain starts raining, everybody sells umbrellas. You set up an office in a new building, and immediately people see queuing, then the next person opens the business next to door. But CAK will help you understand the competition rules so that we are very fair when we compete with one another, and you are supposed to actually make sure you are conversant with those rules and you obey them. There is the National Industrial Training Authority as well. The National Industrial Training Authority, remember we said you are defined in terms of number of employees, annual turnover, and also the capital threshold that is required for you. Now, when you are a member or when you've registered with National Industrial Training Authority, we call it NITA, you will get a lot of benefits because you only pay 50 shillings per employee, and then you access training opportunities, and whenever you train your employees to help your business grow, you also get that as a taxable allowance, and also you get that exempted from tax purposes. So it's I want to just pause there. There are quite many, Kipra and the rest. In the interest of time, but we can give you.
Let me talk about the fintech side, because we also have, we're currently just recently regulated by CBK under the DCP, which is the Digital Credit Provider License. So it's still very new to us. In fact, consider fintechs as SMEs, because we are really trying to understand regulation. That's not our forte. Of course, on the other side, banks have been overly regulated. So for us, it's first a new thing. We're trying to understand what does this mean. Now we have to report to the Financial Reporting Center. You know, you have to now hire a compliance team, an AML team. You know, fintech used to be about just focusing on the tech. Now we've been forced to focus also on the fin, which is a lot of, you know, transitioning for us as a business. You know, I was in an AML conversation yesterday, and we were talking about how, you know, fintechs have had to make an investment of compliance teams, which we have never thought about before. You know, because everything in our business is digital, from KYC to credit scoring to funding the loan. So at what point do you actually really need to sit down and hire a compliance team? So that regulation that has come into the market has also, you know, sanitized the digital lending space in Kenya, because as you might know, some of these statistics is when digital lending started in 2015, we had almost 200 plus digital lenders coming to the market. And as we speak right now, while they could be there, less than 70% of those digital lenders have survived. The current regulation, of course, only 30 of us have been licensed, Pesesha being one of them. But we don't know what's going to happen. You know, is CBK going to issue more licenses? We have not seen that since, I think, June. We also have the data protection laws that have come into effect. We've seen some of the digital lenders being fined heavily for breaking those laws. So again, this is a new regulation. We are trying to understand consumer protection. How do you ensure there is no cyber security? How do you ensure you protect the data of the consumer? Because fintechs are collecting a lot of data digitally. You know, we are working with these customers, these small businesses, but as much as information asymmetry is a big issue, there's also ways that fintechs have smartly collected data, you know, to be able to credit score these businesses. So it's still a new gray area for us as fintechs, as SMEs in the digital space. We're trying to understand. There's still more laws coming. Taxes, of course, are part of that. And we're starting to understand ourselves. Is this, or these regulations, are they meant to, you know, stifle innovation, or really also help fintechs, because it's the intersection of innovation. But just ensuring that these regulations are not removing the innovation aspect, and eventually we stop innovating and we're all focusing on you know, taxes and regulation and too much of it. So in the end, I think it has to be a balance.